Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another of our weekly webcam series shows that we do during the week. As you know, we do Red Dwarf, 2 episodes of that on Mondays. Tuesdays, we do 1 episode of TOS, which is the original Star Trek. Wednesdays, we do 2 episodes, which I'm so excited that we started, of Get Smart, which we did yesterday. And today, my favorite day of the week, we get to do 2 episodes again, review of what I consider the greatest television series I've ever seen, The A-Team. And I watched all 5 seasons. Yes, I even watched the Liam Neeson reboot movie, whatever. Yeah. So, but see, that's how I'm dedicated to such a great series and a great show. And of course, yeah, there were problems. I mean, there were infighting. There was, they had women for 2 seasons and gone, right? And in season 5, they had this guy, Frankie, and he was just a pain in the arse. I mean, he wasn't even meant to be there. I would have preferred having him off, and I would have kept Robert Vaughn as Stockwell. That might have went somewhere. But they decided to add Frankie to help out. Stupid. But anyway, we'll get to that eventually. We'll get there. Okay, so today we're doing 2 episodes again. Like I said, one is called Skins. Let's take a look at that here. Yeah, one is called Skins, and the other one is called Road Games. Skins came out on Tuesday, January 29th, 1985, and Road Games came out on Tuesday, February 5th, 1985. Um, on the first one we're looking at, only about 296 people have seen it, so that's pretty low. And their grade is close to a C, so about a 6.7 out of 10. I pretty much gave it a C on each episode because they weren't that good. I mean, they were okay, but just not great, and definitely not B or A material. So, yeah, Road Games got a 6.9 out of 10 so far. 303 people have seen that. So, yeah, they were kind of downers, but that's okay. We'll try to see how fast we get through them today. Okay. All right. So the basic plot is when Kenyan, this is in Kenya, when Kenyan game warden Kim is shot dead by poachers after refusing to take the customary cut for turning a blind eye on harvesting animals' hides and elephant tusk. So this is another person that does die off screen. Um, we only know about Jack Gang, who played Fulbright, who got killed outright and you saw it. And then, of course, the guy who got him gets knocked off by Hannibal off screen. So, anyway, his sister and colleague Kamara Kaboko travels all the way, try to say that 5 times fast, travels all the way to LA to enlist the A-Team. On arrival, Murdoch makes it his mission to reacquaint BA with his roots, which are probably in West, not East Africa. They stop a poach raid, plant the wire to find the local smuggle king, and order him to hand over all his stock and pay nearly $500,000 for his past catches. When he tries to evacuate the ambitious his plan with an elephant herd and call on the next chain in the illegal traffic, cleverly setting them up against each other. Cool. Okay. All right, we'll take a look at the cast and crew here. The director was Dennis Donnelly. The writers, of course, were Frank Lupo, Stephen J. Kennel, and Mark Jones helped to co-write it. He was also the story editor for this episode. And of course, you have the usual cast of characters: George Papard as Hannibal, Dirk Benedict as Face, Dwight Schultz as Murdoch, Howie Mann, of course, and Mr. T as Bad Attitude Baracus. We're going to take a look at 2 people. Daphne Reed, who was at the time, she was Daphne Maxwell, before she got married to Tim Reed, him in a few shows and stuff. So we're going to look at her, and we'll also look at John Quaid, who played McCadu. That was a good part in this. So, and he's the villain. So we will take a look at both of them. All right, let's take a look at the trivia. Okay. Now it says the aircraft taking off, which is the N81GB, is a 1944 Beechcraft C-18S. The aircraft that makes a forced landing is a Lockheed 12A Electra Junior with its code of N1161V. Okay. And there's a spoiler on this. For the first time in the show, a credited character is killed on screen. Oh, wow, he was killed on screen. Okay. See, it's kind of hard for me to remember this episode offhand because I know that, like I said, General Fulbright, who was played by the actor Jack Ging, in season 4 got knocked off. So he must have been the second one. This is probably the very first one with the game warden. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the goofs, of course. Remember, we're not doing the quotes ever again, so you don't have to hear my silly voice try to mimic BA or anybody. Let's see here. Okay, and we have a couple. Oh, good. Okay, that's always good when we have a couple of goofs in shows like this. Okay, so in continuity, when the pilot and Hannibal in disguise first meet, the pilot tells him to fill up the plane. He then gets straight on the plane, starts it, and takes off. There's absolutely no time to fill up. When the plane is first seen on the ground, the tail number is NC1161V. Then in the air, after the oil line is sabotaged, the number is N81GB. But back on the ground, it is NC1161V. Then there's couple factual errors and a spoiler. Uh, N81GB is a U.S. registration number which would not be used in Kenya. NC1161V is a false registration number. The flight that they are on when flying to Kenya would not continue after BA became hostile. The pilot would be forced to land due to safety for the other passengers. Immediately after, the A team would have been taken into custody and the episode would have ended right there. Yeah. Here's the spoiler. As Kimura is being taken from the house and BA and Hannibal charge the bad guys, one of the bad guys shoots his gun as if it were semi-automatic, although previously it could be seen he was holding a bolt action type of rifle. All right, here's a couple of revealing mistakes. The airliner has no airline name on it, just Boeing 747. And during the finale battle, when the enemy Jeep flips over, you can see that the driver is wearing a helmet. And Kimura has no African accent, while her brother Kim does. Okay. Then the crew or equipment that's visible. When BA becomes agitated and needs to be rendered unconscious, you can see the tip of the wing of the plane the camera is on. Cool. And there's a couple of errors in geography. It is set in Kenya, although they are all driving left-hand drive vehicles. Kenya is a right-hand drive as they drive on the left. A pilot mentioned 2 miles above the Zambezi, which is in the southern part of Africa, more than 1,500 miles to the south of Kenya. The elephant herd is directed by Murdoch, are not African, but Asian species. This was probably done because Asian elephants are much easier to train. That's pretty much true. All right, and the last two character errors here. Face refers to chimpanzees as monkeys, not apes. And when Murdoch is listing the animals which might make noise in the Kenyan night, he includes tigers, which are not native to Africa. Okay, cool. All right, I don't see any soundtracks, so let's other than the intro, of course, and we will read that after we're done here with the first episode. Wow, that we're reviewing. Okay, so they were in L.A., Santa Clarita, California, obviously in Kenya for some parts, and then Los Angeles Convention Center at 1201 South Figueroa Street in downtown LA. So they did a couple places in LA and then Kenya locations afterward. So very cool. All right, so before we get to the two people I mentioned, we were going to check here on cast and crew. Let's go ahead and do our awesome intro narration from the late John Ashley. I tried to quote it as much as possible, close as possible, but rest in peace, John. He always introduced it this way. Okay. In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the LA underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. Now, if you have a problem, and if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A team. Dun 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 dun. I love doing that. Okay, so let's go check and see here on John Quaid. Okay. All right. We did lose John Quaid. He was an actor and a producer. He was born in 1938, died 2009. So April 1st, 38, and then August 9th, 2009. He was 71 years old. He was a character actor. He was born John William Saunders III in Kansas City, Kansas. Quaid transferred from Perry Rural High School in Perry, Kansas to Highland Park High School in Topeka, Kansas in 1954. John was a football tackle and participated in both track and basketball at Highland Park High School. Moreover, he was a member of the Stamp, Radio, and Chess Checkers clubs. My kind of nerd. Quaid graduated from high school in 1956 and attended Washburn University. He also worked for the Santa Fe Railroad. That is so cool. Okay, so what he's known for is a couple of really good movies here. He was in The Sting, which featured Robert Redford and Paul Newman. He played the role of Riley in that movie. Then in 1978, he was in Every Which Way But Loose, that one that featured Clint Eastwood and the orangutan, Clyde. He played the role of Choya, and that was in 1978. Then in 1980, he came back and did the other movie as Choya, Any Which Way You Can, with Clint Eastwood and Clyde the orangutan in 1980. And finally, he was in the movie that what was his name? He was the bartender in La Bamba, which was based on, the guy that died in the plane crash with the Big Bopper and so forth. Right. Yeah, let me take a look at La Bamba there so I can remember his name. Right, the one with Lou Diamond Phillips, Isai Morales, and Rosana de Soto. Yeah, he played the bartender in that. So that's cool. So that was John Quaid. Okay. All right, now we'll go back here and take a look at the next person here, Daphne Reed. Okay, Daphne Reed is an actress, producer, and she also has worked as a second unit director or assistant director. Very cool. All right, Daphne Reed, also known as Daphne Maxwell, is American actress, comedian, interior designer, and a former model from New York City. She is primarily known as the second actress to portray the regular character Vivian Banks in the popular sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She replaced Janet Hubert in this role and portrayed Vivian from 1993 to 1996. Her version of the character was a housewife instead of a literature professor. In 1948, Reed was born in New York City, and her parents were Green Maxwell and his wife, Rosalie. So she was born July 13th, 1948. And so right now she is, let's see, 5, my math. Okay, so she is 76 years old. So when she reaches her birthday, she'll turn 77. Right around where right around where my mom is. My mom is right up there in the high 70s. So very cool. And let's see. So yeah, so she did 74 episodes as Daphne Maxwell Reed when she had just after she was already married to Tim Reed from 93 to 96, 74 episodes of that. She was in a series called Frank's Place from 87 to 88. She was in 22 episodes of that, and she played Hannah Griffin. She was in the movie Harriet. She played Ms. Lucy in 2019. Cool. And then she also did 16 episodes of the Simon and Simon series, and from 83 to 87. and she was Temple Hill in that. And let me see if she's still. I want to take a look, see if she's still married to Tim. Let's see here. Yep, she's been married to Tim Reed since December 4th, 1982, to the present day. She has 3 kids: Christopher Tubbs, Tim Reed II, and Tori, Tori Reed. Cool. I'm so happy for Daphne that she's still married to him. Okay. And we have the trusty ape is in the building. Welcome, welcome, Kevin. Welcome, my friend. It's great to see you. Hey, Mikey. Hey, sir. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good day there in the Bay Area, my friend. Hope everything's going well with your partner and with the kids and everybody. I pray for you guys all the time. So we got 2 likes. That is awesome. And we got 2 people watching. Very cool. So great to see you. Great to see you, Trusty. Good to see you, Kevin. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next episode here. And that one, let's see here. Yeah, we'll get to. I'm sorry. I got to go back here and get back to the A-Teams thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we'll take a look here at the next episode there in season 3. And I do feel like we're caught up. I hope we are at this point. Because I know we did Moon Pie. The last time we were on, we did Moon Pie's birthday. We celebrated that first, and then we covered the other 2 episodes. So I believe we did that correctly. Okay. So the next one here is season 3, episode 18, which is called Road Games. And we'll take a look at this one. Okay. All right, the summary plot for this episode is when the otherwise decent manager of a foster home is forced to take a run on account of his personal debts and illegal gambling, the A-Team is hired to put the criminals out of business. In no time, Face, who naturally takes to the flashy lifestyle as a duck to water, is set up to meet and ingratiate racketeer Johnny Royce, who soon hires him and comes to trust his new brightest boy, so they can find out all about his current operation. A lawn truck is converted into a casino on wheels. Very cool. Okay. All right, so the director of this episode was Nicholas Cigarro. I can't say it. Cigarro. Okay, there we go. The writers, of course, were Lupo, Jay Cannell, and Stephen Katz. And the Mark Jones was the story editor for this one as well. And let's see. We're going to look at Daphne Ashbrook, who plays Patty Sullivan, and we'll look at Edward Winter, who played the racketeer Johnny Royce. Okay, so let's take a look first at the trivia. Okay, and here it says the Royce Casino tractor trailer interior set was constructed using the Flag semi-trailer design from Knight Rider in 1982. Cool. And when Patty meets Hannibal in the pool hall, the soda vending machine has black tape on the name, but one can tell it's a Pepsi machine due to the familiar logo. This is done so that they don't have to pay a licensing fee to PepsiCo. Oh, that makes sense. The shot of the exterior of the studio where Face scams the replacement gambling material is actually a shot of the fictional Worldwide Studios from the opening of the very first Muppets movie, including a shot of the classic car that Statler and Waldorf arrived at the studio in. Seemingly the first episode of the series with a 1985 copyright. Also, the first episode after a long period featuring a bespoke helicopter stunt since mid-season 2 after an understandable hiatus of helicopter and flying stunts following the notorious Twilight Zone the movie incident with Vic Morrow and the 2 kids. The more traditional conventional flying shots in the series were generally reused stock footage. So you see what John Landis caused? Yeah, a lot of mess. All right, let's take a look at goofs. All right, so we have a couple of continuity and one revealing mistake. Cool. All right, so in continuity, the helicopter Murdoch was using was an MD Hughes 500 369, but briefly when shown in the sky at about 42 minutes in is a Bell 206 Jet Ranger, and that one is seen. As the A-Team van heads towards the casino's first location, the number plate on the van is different, 2L8 3000. In the next shot, it's back to its usual number plate. This happens again when they park by the helicopter. Yeah, there's some continuity problem there. Okay, when BA is crossing the street after the rolling casino truck has left the warehouse, the body double as his wake appears to be coming away from the skull cap. So you see his body double. Wow, pretty cool. All right. Okay, there are no soundtracks, obviously. So let's take a look at the filming and production. Okay, the home for children that they filmed at was at 180 East Mendocino Street in Altadena, California, or Altadena, is how some people say it. They were also in the towns of Santa Clarita, California, and Newhall, California. They were also in LA area, and their driving scene, which is approximately 7 minutes in, is at Franklin Avenue driving eastbound at Oxford Avenue, right there in LA. And last but not least, this was demolished as Johnny's Restaurant, but now there's a place that was called Baroni's Restaurant at 14,151 Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, California. Very cool. Alrighty. Let's see if anybody else has come in. Oh, so far it's still Kevin. Glad you're still with us, Kevin. Thank you. And a second lurker. 2 people, but we've got 2 likes, so thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't say this much, but there we go. Guys, gals, you're awesome. Always awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at the cast and crew. As we said before here, let's see. All right, so first one is Edward Winter. He was playing the Racketeer Johnny Royce in this. Okay, yeah, unfortunately we did lose Edward Winter back in 2001. Great actor. He was born June 3rd, 1937, died on March 8th, 2001. So he died at a very young age, 63 years old. Yeah. He was born in Ventura, California. He was known as an actor for Porky's 2 the Next Day in 1983. He was in the original movie MASH, and I believe he played Frank in that in 1972 with Donald Sutherland and the rest. And then he was in Project UFO. I remember that in 1978. He was married to 3 different women: Linda Foster, Sandra Francis Ward, and Rhonda Faye Moe. He died in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, California, as I said, on March 8th, 2001. Okay, so Mr. Winter, like I said, in 1983, he played Gebhardt in the Porky's 2 the Next Day sequel. In the TV series Project UFO, he was in 14 episodes from 1978 to 1979, and he played Captain Ben Ryan, where he also played Brad Everett. In the MASH TV series that he continued after the original movie, he actually played Colonel Samuel Flagg. I'm sorry, he wasn't Frank in the original movie, but he did play Colonel Flagg, a nemesis, and a Captain Halloran in the MASH series. From 73 to 79, he was in 7 episodes. And then back in 1984, he was in 6 episodes of a TV series called Empire, where he played T. Howard Daniels. And the last thing he worked on was he was a voice in a animated TV series called The Angry Beavers from 1997 to 2000. He worked on 12 episodes of that. He was a TV announcer. He was a wrestling announcer. He was scientist number one. So he did a lot of voiceovers before he died. So very cool, Edward Winter. And rest in peace. Okay. And finally, we're going to take a look at Daphne Ashbrook, who plays Patty Sullivan. And according to IMDb background information, she is still alive. She's an actress, writer, and producer. She was born January 30th, 1963. So she has celebrated her 62nd birthday. Very cool. She was born in Long Beach, California. Cool. That's where one of my sisters live. She's an actress and writer known for Doctor Who the movie in 1996, Star Trek Deep Space Nine in 1993, and JAG, that series JAG. Yes, very cool. 1995. Judge Advocate General. That's what JAG means. Okay. So in the Doctor Who movie, she played Dr. Grace Holloway, in 96. In the JAG TV series, she was Annie Pendry from 1995 to 98. She was in 5 episodes. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine, she played Melora Paslar for 1 episode in 1993. And in the OC, she was in that TV series for 5 episodes. She played Dawn Atwood, and that was from 2003 to 2006. Now, most recently, in 2023, she was in a movie called Come Home. She played the role of Missy. And right now, in production, is a TV movie called A Wild Endeavor, and she plays the role of Harmony. So that is the brief career of Daphne Ashbrook. Very cool. Okay. All right then. So now let's go back here real quick. Okay. All right. So our next 2 episodes for next Thursday will be Moving Targets. That's 1 episode. That'll be episode 19. And then episode 20 from season 3 called Knights of the Road. Cool. Okay. So that's it for that. Okay. I need to go ahead and cut it short today. So my quick prayer, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, is please pray for everybody in the Myanmar earthquake disaster. Over 3,000 people have died. Please pray for their souls. Pray for their families and hope that they can recover. And please pray for everybody in our family. And also, don't forget, we are having our 250 plus subs celebration this coming Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So we will have some panelists to start, and then if we feel it's all right, we'll go ahead and open up the rest to all of you so that you can check it out. So until then, as we always say here at MikeySuzeFour, the aisle's now closed. We also say from my friend Larry, be yourself adventures, always be yourself. My wife who says leave everything in God's hands. Beautiful Suzanne, my beautiful wife. And of course, finally, I always say, always expect the unexpected, everybody and everyone all at once. So everybody take care of yourselves. Thank you again for being here. Trust the Ape, Kevin, my one of my brothers there in the Bay Area. So thank you, my brother, for being here. 2 likes, and thank you again, everyone. We'll see you next time.